From far and wide, Oilers fans, this is Dolynny TV. This is Dolynny TV, and guys, welcome back to another Edmonton Oilers discussion. Yes, after a day off for Christmas and a little week video that I put out just to kind of game plan for you guys what's coming up today, I'm going to talk a little bit about what the Oilers need to do to maintain a playoff spot coming into the All-Star break, right? That's the next time the Oilers are going to sit down and relax while everybody else in the NHL does the same. So right now, sitting in that, 8th seed in the Western Conference, the second wildcard spot, I'm not exactly liking our chances, especially with the Vancouver Canucks, who we face tomorrow, right on our heels, 1 point behind. That's not a comfortable place to be as an Oilers fan. Headed into January, of course that leaves us January, February, March, and a week in April pretty much. So we gotta try and make some ground in the next, pretty much month until the All-Star break, right? That's exactly. So right now what it becomes is there's 3 games left on the schedule in, in friggin' December. Pardon me, I'm a little tired, a little bit slow this morning. Also forgot to pull up something that I wanted to have for this video. Let's get that right now and then we should be gold. So essentially, like I said, right now 3 games left in December, and it is just kind of scratch and claw time for the Edmonton Oilers, who, well, by all accounts, they literally sit on the outside looking in, kind of, sort of. You can depend where it looks. The Minnesota Wild, Dallas Stars are the team with 39 points in the Western Conference's Central Division. However, Oilers have 1 less loss in regulation. So I would say that's exactly what I'd be looking at, is the Oilers are still sitting in that wildcard spot. So now it's time to gain some ground, and where do you start doing that? Like I said, the Canucks have 38 points, so that makes the game against the Canucks on the 27th very, very important. Obviously, you need to take that game in regulation and defeat them handily. That's the only response the Oilers need to have, and the only response they can afford to have. When they lost 4-2 against the Canucks 10 days ago right now, it'll be 11 days ago when they face them tomorrow. And then you take an off day and face the San Jose Sharks at home. Both games on the schedule that I've talked about so far are home games. San Jose, this is an important game as well. 45 points in the standings, so right there, if they lose and whatever until their next game against us on the 29th, that leaves them with 45. We'd have 41 after facing the Canucks. We'd be able to scratch in regulation to 2 points within them in the division. That would mean we're kind of sitting around where Anaheim, Las Vegas are right now. So you gotta hope that the Oilers can just scratch and claw the rest of this December, right? 3 straight victories to end December would be so huge. And then, of course, you have the massive game against the Winnipeg Jets, a very big measuring stick game, right? Same thing as the Tampa Bay Lightning game. Big measuring stick game against the Winnipeg Jets. 31st, at home, 7 o'clock game. You gotta hope the Oilers can pull out that victory, because that also has some ramifications in the Central, right? That gives the Predators a chance to catch up. That gives the Avalanche a chance to catch up. The Jets are running away with the Central at this point, 4 points ahead of the Predators. Kind of exactly what the Flames did there for about a week and a half. And you see, in terms of point leaders, the Jets are the 3rd best team in the NHL, so you can't exactly knock them at all. So that's just December. That's the question. That's just December. 3 wins in December. The rest of December, the rest of 2019 would only get us 6 points, and only would get us, if everybody ahead of us loses the rest of the games in 2018, that would only get us into 2nd place. So you got to think the Oilers are not exactly gunning for 1st place at this point. Honestly, if the Oilers are gunning for 1st place, I think it's a little bit of a stretch, especially with this team. You'd have to look at it honestly, and I think they got to look at it as gun for 2nd place. If the Flames fall, take 3rd, whatever, but you want to end up in the 2nd or 3rd seed, and that's obviously where I'm thinking the Oilers will, if they play solid hockey and get back from injury. So you go into January, headed after the before the All-Star break, and you start talking about who we face then. It's a stretch. After facing the Winnipeg Jets, this is the fun part. After facing the Winnipeg Jets on the 31st, the Oilers go on the road against Arizona, LA, Anaheim, San Jose. The God save right here, 4 games. Arizona, 2 days off. LA, back-to-back Anaheim on the Sunday, day off, and then San Jose. So at least you get the 2 days off before going into the back-to-back, and then a day off before going into San Jose. That's huge. However, these are kind of messed up times, right? 7:30 on the Wednesday the 2nd, and then the 5th is an 8 o'clock start. Sunday is a 6 o'clock start, and then Tuesday is an 8:30 start. So the Oilers kind of all around in the same time within 2.5 hours game time. However, that could really mess with them, especially going 8 o'clock Mountain Time and then 6 o'clock Mountain Time on a back-to-back. Could be very, very tough for the Oilers, that's for sure. And then San Jose, you got to close it out and get home the next day and get ready for the Florida Panthers on the 10th. So the Oilers, obviously, I would have to say, almost have to go 6-0-1 in the next 7 games. That's high-end good. They can afford to go 6-1-0. That'd be all right. And 5-1-1 is almost teetering on the edge of disaster, it looks like. The only game that you could really afford to lose, although you have to really win it considering, is the LA Kings game or else the Arizona Coyotes game. That's the only game you can really afford to botcher and lose in regulation. If you're going to lose in overtime, make sure it's against Anaheim or San Jose. That's the big thing. You got to make sure you take the big boys to overtime, and if you're going to lose, at least you get a point. That's where it makes up. So if they go, let's say, 3-0-1 in that stretch of 4 games, suddenly now you've already got 45 points. Now you're at 52, but you're also pretty much almost 3 weeks removed from where we are now. I don't know where everyone else sits. Like I said, if you beat Anaheim and San Jose, maybe you sit a little bit better off, especially if you beat San Jose twice over. Maybe then you're sitting in that comfortable 3rd position and maybe deteriorating San Jose's, I don't know, confidence a little bit, especially considering where the Oilers have sat the past couple of games and how they've looked. Then you have Florida, Arizona again. So again, beat up the Pacific. That's what you got to do. So Florida, revenge for sure. You got to make sure you get 2 points there. Arizona, 2 points. Buffalo, you know what? That's a crapshoot. It's always a crapshoot when the Oilers play Buffalo. A loss there is not going to kill us because the next game is more critical, and that is a game against the Vancouver Canucks in Vancouver again. So we got to take that game. You got to take that game. You got to take the game against Calgary on the Saturday, and then it's Carolina and Detroit at home to close out January, of course, headed into the All-Star break. And then you really got to question yourself, where do the Oilers sit after that? So Florida, Arizona, Buffalo, if we're sitting at 52 points after the San Jose game, you know what? 56 points, 55 isn't a bad spot. Then you've got Vancouver, Calgary, Carolina, Detroit, 3-1-0. Well, let's go 2-0. So 59 points, 60 points after January. That leaves February, that leaves March, and that leaves April to get another 30 points. Essentially, what is 30 points? Well, 15 W's, right? 15 W's, or if you want to go 13 W's and 2 overtime losses, whatever. That's essentially what you're looking at. Is you've got to hope the Oilers can take it. And you look forward to February, you've got 5, 8, 11, 14 games there, so you win even 10. And then March, you can slump off a little bit. You've got 4, 7, 11, 14 again. Win even 8. Go 500. Suddenly you've got what? 18 victories? That's going to make a world of difference. That's 36 points. And then you clutch up in March and win 3 of 4. Yeah, you know what? The Oilers can do this very, very easily. Because like I said, all of a sudden you win 18, you win 3 or 4, 21 points, 42 points, 55. That's a 97-point pace. So margin of error, I think, for the Oilers at this point of the season is anywhere between 93 to 99 points. That's what it's going to take for them. So you're talking margin of error right there. You're talking about 6 points. 3 W's one way or the other. You want to take to heart what I said. Take it to the book and say, okay, we have 3 wins, 3 losses to kind of play with. If they're wins, that helps us. If they're losses, do they really hurt us if the margin of error is 3 losses? Look at it that way. I don't know. I think the Oilers can get it done. I'm hoping the Oilers can get it done. I hope you guys are hoping as well. That's kind of my crazy math. Of course, this next stretch going into the All-Star break is going to be the toughest test. That's exactly what needs to happen, is big W's, big wins against the Pacific Division. Beat them up, get into that second spot, and then just kind of ride the wave, right? You'll get Clefbaum back in February. You'll have Sekera back sometime mid-January, sometime maybe early February, who knows? And then you start putting the balls together and starting to crystallize what the playoff future looks like for the Edmonton Oilers. Anyways, guys, I'm Tyson. This has been Dolynny TV. I will catch you guys in the next one.